Hello everybody in YouTube land. We're working on the E-120 tonight. We've made some great progress. You notice I've got the switches all hooked up. However, I still need to put placards in there, all that stuff. We're still working on electronics and mechanical pieces, but I'm making some great progress. Now I've gotten the whole slide assembly working, which I'll show you today. You notice I'll kind of explain how it all works. So I got a junction box down here, which earlier in this video I think I've going to splice in, putting in a new rectifier. So I was making AC to DC, and DC really powers this whole sled, everything up here, and also the selector for the play selector. So that's where DC is going in this unit. Lights, the actual turntable motor over here, it's all AC, and it's just 110 AC. So anyway, I get, for this sled assembly that I've been working on, I get electricity coming out of the junction box through to here, and then it has its own little mini junction box. So I have to turn this on. Let's see. Oh, okay. And I'll make sure there's also a second switch over here. Yep, that's on. So I've got power up here now. And there are several switches to tell you about here. So there are two switches for, they call bail switches. So one right there and then one under the other unit. And what they're doing is they're sensing if any of these little teeth come up. So as soon as one comes up, this one will make a contact right there, which tells the cartridge assembly here, this whole sled, to start moving over. So there's a motor right here, it gets energized, and it will, with this chain drive, move over the whole cartridge over here. And right down below, you'll notice that there's some little forks that come down, and they're sensing for right when it meets one of these that are switched up. And at that point, it stops movement. And it actually is kind of interesting how it does it. They keep a small voltage on the motor. Actually, it would be on this motor. And it uses dynamic braking then to stop the sled real quickly. And once it's stopped, then it starts operating. And there's a motor over here, and it starts turning, and it will clamp onto a record. So normally there are a set of trays right here that are sort of vertical, and all of your records go in there. So this will clamp onto it, flip it up, and put it onto the platter, which is turning to play the sound. And then this arm will come out and lay down on the first groove of the record and start playing. So we'll see that happen in just a second. I also wanted to show you, as that is starting, a little relay in here will then push down that selected switch and get it ready for playing the next one. So let's see how that works. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and reach over here, and I'll just select or push one of these down. It will cause the switch just minutely to come up, push and make contact, and that will tell the sled to start moving. And you'll see it, this motor right here, start turning. Here we go, ready? Here we go. Okay, and I'll show it. There it goes. All right, so it's playing. Now I don't have the actual motor for the platter energized right now, but it normally would be spinning. So now what I'm going to do is I'll simulate the play arm moving slowly over to where it reaches the end of the record, so it plays the whole record, and that will make a contact right here, and that switch will reverse this motor, so it starts going in the opposite direction, undoing, basically pulling that record back off and setting it back in its spot. So, and at that point then it's kind of all reset, and it looks for a new one. If there are no other switches switched, it just will sit there. If another switch is on, it'll go ahead and seek to it. So let's go ahead and we'll set one over here. And the way that's set, it's kind of interesting. is this side it'll go looking for them on this side and then switch and start back and then make contact there. So let's watch that happen. I'll go ahead and unselect this, or I'll move the arm over. There it goes. And now the record's coming back over. It happens quickly, doesn't it? Here we go, going to the new selection. Switches, comes back, finds it, and starts this process again. And now it's playing. Okay, so let's watch that process without one selected, and you'll see it should just stop and not do anything. So I'm going to slowly move this arm over. There we go, whoops. There we go. Okay, and one interesting thing here is this selection right here. So this is telling us whether to pick up the record, or telling the system whether to pick up the record and lay it down on the right side or on the left side. And the way it does that is that as it moves down the track and hits this post, the post actually makes contact right here with this little roller, and this post over here makes contact with this roller. And that switches which side the assembly is going to go to. I don't want to mess that up, but because once it's set, then you want it to be with the right one. I guess it would recycle once it got to this post over here. But anyway, there are grooves in this assembly, and as it starts tilting up, if this is selected this direction, it will go down one groove, which causes this arm to go the one direction. Otherwise, it'll go down a different groove. Let's see if we can get a close-up of that operation happening. So I'll go ahead and I'll click on this. It'll move to the right, away from the camera, and I'll try and keep keep from making a shadow. And then we'll watch it happen. There we go. And there's those grooves right in here. You can see those. All right. Very interesting. Okay, so it's playing, and I can also click the recycle switch, so I should be able to click on this, and it causes it to bring record back too. So that's the cancel switch, actually.